Welcome to the Empowered Purpose Podcast. This is for women who have been broken but refuse to stay there. Born homeless after my father fled the communist takeover of our country, Laos. We came to America with just $40 and a dream. I grew up bullied for my differences, lost in who I was. Life tested me through trauma, lost, and then losing my husband to cancer. But I'm still here, and now I'm choosing to live. This is for the women who are healing, building, and becoming. No matter what life throws at you, you still get to choose to live fully.
Welcome to the Empowered Purpose Podcast, where we turn pain into power and stories into purpose. I'm your host, Laura Empowhers, and today's guest is Jessica Hooks. Her story is one of the unimaginable loss, surviving a domestic violence environment that led her father to taking her mother's life, and enduring heartbreak of losing two brothers to gun violence. But this isn't just a story about trauma, it's a story on resilience. Jessica is built from the scars that tried to break her, and today she's releasing her voice and using it to heal, inspire, and empower others. Join us as we dive deep into her journey of turning pain into purpose, and let's be empowered together.
So, Jessica, before we get started with your story, tell us a little bit about you and who you are today.
So I am a woman of God. I want to start off by saying that I had a childhood that was a little bit of good and bad, but that has molded me into the woman that I am today. So God has brought me through many challenges, and I'm just in a place where I just want to spread positivity. I want to spread my word, my story, and I just have a passion for what I feel, and the things that I've been through, and I want to help other women get through the things that I've been through.
Absolutely.
That's a little bit of where I'm at as of right now.
It's so brave of you to be here today, to be able to share your story and not hold it in, because I feel like through your story, there's going to be so many people that is going to be released from the things that you're going to share today.
I agree.
Absolutely. So can you share as much or as little as you would like about your childhood?
My childhood, I grew up with my mom and dad, both in the same household. They were married for like 30 plus years. My mother was 18 when she got married to my father, and she had her first child right after that. My oldest brother, he is deceased from gun violence as well. And I'm the middle child. And then my mom also had my youngest sister 6 years later. We had fun. We had good times. It wasn't always bad. I grew up with structure, very disciplined parents. We had breakfast at the table. We had dinner at the table. We talked. It wasn't always bad. So I had a lot of great times in my childhood. But I think the most thing that was the downfall would be like the domestic violence that I experienced and I witnessed at such a young age.
Tell me a little more about that.
I'll put it like this. My mother was the breadwinner, as I mentioned. She was the breadwinner. She was a hardworking woman. She did everything that she could to make everybody happy, to make everything what it was. And my father, on the other hand, he was a little bit more on the insecure side, a little bit more jealous. He didn't really have stability. She was the structure. She was the foundation of our family and our household. So with him, it was more so of like a competition in a sense with him, with my mother. So I saw a lot of that. I didn't really see a lot of examples of him being what a father should be to his daughters and setting examples of what a husband should be. A little bit of that.
A little challenging. Now, what do you know about like sort of the dynamics of how he was brought up or his childhood?
I believe in generational cycles for sure. So he had a rough childhood as well. And in this day, right where I'm at today, I understand that the way people are today, it has a lot to do with their childhood.
Absolutely.
And his father was the same kind of way. He was very abusive. He was just not aware of the things that he would do as a father, how that affected his sons. My grandfather had two sons and they lost their daughter, but they had two sons. So I feel like my father grew up, facing similar challenges, watching his parents, and that's where everything kind of comes into full cycle. So because you watch what your parents do and you either become a product of that or you're going to go and do the opposite and be better.
Absolutely. And do you feel like your dad maybe had unresolved trauma that he
Of course.
never addressed or
Of
got
course.
treated?
Of course. It was a lot of trauma for him.
Okay.
A lot of trauma for him. His dad was a provider, but he was very absent in the sense of being there for his sons and being there for his wife and just being a role model as a man, what a man should be,
Yeah.
things like that. So I feel like my father grew up watching the same type of things, and that's why he ended up being the way he was today.
And how was your mom raised, and what was your mother like?
My mother, she had four other siblings, so it's five of them as well. And ironically, she was the middle child as well, but she had a different father than her other siblings. So, try not to say too much without saying too much, but I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be transparent.
Absolutely, that's what it's all
My
about.
grandmother, she loved my mother. I truly believe that she loved my mother dearly.
Yeah.
But with her having a different father, whatever that situation was, my mother was treated a little bit different. She ended up being raised by her aunt when she was 5 years old. She was sent with her aunt at 5. And my mother didn't know her father. She didn't know what love was.
Wow.
So I think that's why she stayed in the situation that she stayed in as long as she did.
And I think that's also important to acknowledge too, like from the women's side or the victim side of abuse, is how they were also brought up. Like what were some of those trauma that they faced that makes them attached to or want to be with someone, the trauma bonding, right? So you said you had a pretty good childhood overall. And then what do you feel sparked or led up to that day?
With the her being gone.
Yes.
So just so everyone knows, my mother was murdered on Mother's Day in 2019, May 12th. She was murdered by her husband in her own home in Westchester, Illinois. She was shot up several times, and she was found laying unresponsive in her bathroom by her bedroom. And I think what it was just a buildup of emotions and trauma and just cycles going through the same repeated pattern over and over and over. And when you go through things like that, if you don't get the proper help that you need, if you don't seek out for and you how should I put it, like if you don't really take the time out to really make a change. I know that it's hard for a lot of women because I've experienced it as well, but it's important that you are aware of your situation and the abuse that you're going through, because it's going to eventually end up being bad. It's either going to be death, it's going to be just abuse, it's going to be mental abuse, verbal abuse. It's a lot. So I think that what led up to that is my father, just to retrack my steps. We've been through a lot of loss in my immediate family. So my oldest brothers, they're both deceased with gun violence.
Both of them.
They were both killed by gun violence.
Oh my goodness.
So my father has 5 children. My mother has 3 with him. He had 2 older kids with 2 other women.
Okay.
My brothers, unfortunately, were both killed by gun violence.
Oh my God.
My father also experienced, he was shot up 9 times because of his abuse with alcohol, cocaine, things like that, not knowing how to manage his emotions, his own insecurities, etc. So he was also shot up when I was a junior in high school. And so I think all of that, juggling demons and your trauma and stuff like that, that can lead back to being drug usage, trying to handle your emotions, trying to handle all the baggage and the trauma that comes along with that. That's a lot. It made it worse. So over the time, it just got worse and worse and worse. My mom kind of checked out when she lost her son. She checked out emotionally. She checked out spiritually, and she just started doing her own thing because he was very abusive. He was very controlling towards her, and she wasn't having it anymore. And I think that when a man is weak like that and he's insecure and he sees that that woman is no longer tolerating those type of behaviors, it really triggers something within them.
Absolutely.
She started doing her own thing. She started, her support system, her family, her kids, telling her the right things to do, she started really listening to that.
Okay.
And she was trying to find herself. She was trying to find her place, and just trying to juggle everything, her family, her children, things like that. So um, just it's just unfortunate. She made the decision to go out with a friend or a family member for their birthday with her friends and family, and he decided to take her life when she came home. That night, I remember talking to my mom the day before it happened, because I bought her Mother's Day gift. She wanted these pearls so bad. She was like, "I can you please give me these pearls? Give me these pearls." I ended up getting her the pearls. I was gonna surprise her. And I had a conversation with her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to go out with my, Michelle." That was her colleague at the time, and she invited me over to her house for her birthday. I'm gonna go out with Tracy, which was a family friend, and I invited your dad, but he just don't want to go. He on his drinking spree again, and he's just out of it. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I'm still gonna go because I'm not gonna be sitting in here dealing with his shit.
Right.
And
That
she
was the
decided
last word
that
she
was
said
that
to
was the
you?
last words. And I remember her being like, just to the
Wow.
details, like I remember her being like a little sick, like she was coming like
Oh.
she was like getting a cold or something. I'm like, "Mom, you all right? Your voice hoarse and stuff." She was like, "Yeah, I'm all right. I think I'm coming down with a cold, but I need to get out this house. I'm gonna still go out and go out with Michelle and Tracy and
Yeah.
just do my thing. I tried to invite your daddy. He don't want to go, so I'm not gonna sit here and deal with this."
Right.
She decided to go out, and this was Saturday, May 11th, the day before she was murdered. And from there, I was just like, the next day happened. I'm waking up. I lived in the south suburbs at the time. And, I talked to my sister. We were going to take her out for lunch, for brunch. And we were getting ready and things like that. And I just remember being in the shower and my phone going off like back to back. And I'm like,
Oh,
who was
wow.
calling me like that? So I get out the shower and I come to my phone and my sister steady calling me. So I'm like, I'm trying to hurry up and get ready so I can meet at a certain time for reservations. Everybody
Yeah.
know Mother's Day be booked.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
you were
make
going
your
to take her out
reservations. Yeah, we
that
were gonna
day.
take her out on Mother's Day
Wow.
morning, like brunch, like
Yeah.
brunch. And my sister just kept calling, so I'm like, let me just answer.
Yeah.
And my sister, she was FaceTiming me. I just see her outside of their
Oh
home,
my goodness.
and I just remember her face just being like I could never forget, like just and distraught, like just
Wow.
red, puffy eyes. I'm like, she like, "Jessica, Jessica." I'm like, "What is going on? Why are you calling me like that?" She like, "Mom is dead. Mom is dead." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about?" "Mom is dead, Jessica. Please come. Please come." I'm standing outside. I'm standing outside. They won't let me in the house. All these polices are out here. Everything is surrounded. It's with tape. I told them that I'm Erica Hooks, like that, and they're like, "Are you Leaf Sharon Hooks's daughter?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to go home so we can get ready to take my mom out."
Yeah.
And they're like, "We can't let you up there. We can't let you in there. Your mom is deceased."
Oh my God.
Yeah. So give me a second. I didn't think I was gonna get teary-eyed doing this. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
It was like a nightmare. And I just remember like throwing my phone because I'm like, I'm tired of gun violence. So like, what happened? Like, where the fuck is he at?
Yeah.
Where is he? Because that was the first thing that came to mind.
You knew
I
it was
didn't
him.
ask.
You knew it
I
was
didn't
your
ask
dad.
like what happened. Like I was just like, where is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was like, the garage door is open. They said it was open when they got here. We don't know where he's at. And they're trying to investigate. They're doing all this stuff and stuff like that. They won't let me in the house. They won't let me out. Please come.
Yeah.
Please come. So I ended up calling my mom's sister, letting her know what happened. And I just got on the road.
Yeah.
I just got on the road and I met my sister
Yeah.
there. And we ended up going to the Westchester Police Department trying to figure out where the fuck he at. Where's my daddy? Where is he at?
Oh my gosh.
Where is he at? Because that's what I want to know. Because this has been going on for so long. And I know he did this shit.
Right.
That's how I was feeling in that
Yeah.
moment. I know
Yeah.
he did it.
Yeah.
And so, whole time, we were at the police department. Now, I don't know how the police department work. I'm just like, where my daddy?
Yeah.
Where is he at?
Did
Because
y'all
they
arrest
live
him
together.
yet?
They're married. I know that he did this, and they have a certain protocol where they can't expose too much information because they're trying to interrogate. They're trying to get information and things like
Right.
that. So,
Right.
whole time he was already arrested. They didn't tell us that. He was already in custody with Westchester,
Okay.
and they were just like going around in circles trying to get information out of us.
Got it.
That mugshot that I sent you, that was the mugshot that they took
Okay.
when he was arrested
Got it.
for
Got
first degree
it.
murder.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's what led up to that, and that's how we found out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been the toughest thing for you to experience. Not only did you lose your brothers, but then your mother on Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day, when we were about to take her out.
On Mother's
On
Day.
Mother's Day.
Why would he pick Mother's Day to do that?
Premeditated, meaning that when we talked to the detectives, they said that the cameras, because they had cameras in their home, the cameras were scheduled to be turned off on Friday that weekend,
Wow.
and they were scheduled to be turned back on that Monday.
Really?
Yep. So the footage of that incident couldn't be found for some odd reason.
Yeah.
They've been, and that's where we're at. It took so long, not only because of the pandemic, but it took so long to get to the bottom of things because they needed the cameras. They knew the cameras were in there.
Yeah.
They were trying to get footage of the cameras. They needed anything that they could
Right.
from the cameras. And
Right.
it was just like they couldn't get what they needed from those cameras because whatever he did, however he moved, it was smart, and he had them scheduled to be turned off
Oh my goodness.
to not record, or because they
Right.
didn't have the recording feature, but it was still picking up footage.
Yeah.
But because he had them scheduled to be turned off, they couldn't get no footage.
Whew, that's deep.
Couldn't get no footage. So it's a premeditated murder.
Right. So how would you say your relationship with your father was prior to this incident, and then how is it now?
When I was a little girl, I was a daddy's girl. When I was like, I was a daddy's
Yeah.
girl. Out of all five of his kids, I'm the one that looked like him the most.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was a daddy's girl. It's so funny because, like, as a little girl, I didn't understand all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand anything that was going on, their arguments and stuff like that. I didn't understand that. I just loved my daddy. You know, I love my mama too, but I was really a daddy's girl. Like, he was always the guy that, he had the nice cars.
Mhm.
He played all the nice music.
Yeah.
We were driving through the block. Everybody know that's Jessica daddy. He would pick me up from school, and I just loved it. Like,
Aw.
that warmed my heart. He would pick me
Yeah.
up. We'd go to the park, do things like that. But as I got older,
Mhm.
I started realizing the type of man that he really
Mm.
was. You know, he wasn't the father that I deserved, or any of his children deserved. He wasn't the husband that my mother deserved.
When did you make that kind of like, you know, that thought process change from a that's my daddy, I'm daddy's girl, to wait a minute, this isn't
ain't
the
it.
man, this ain't it. So was there something that happened that caused the change of heart?
The repeated abuse.
Was
I'm
he abusive
sorry.
to you
No.
or all of
abusive to
to
me.
everybody?
He was abusive to me because he was abusive to everybody, but he was abusive to me a lot because I was the most outspoken.
Okay.
I spoke on a lot of things that I didn't like. And to him, that was me talking back. To him, that was, you need to stay in a child's place. To him, that was, what goes on in his house stays in his house. Things like that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that.
And so how's your relationship with your dad now?
I haven't spoken to him since 2019. I've seen him, but I haven't spoken to him.
Yeah. And then you had mentioned that they're currently going through trial
Mhm.
right now. Tell me how you're feeling about that. Like, is it bringing back?
It's been a roller coaster for me.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. If I can be completely transparent,
Mhm.
I felt every emotion that you could feel. Sad, questioning my life. Could I have done something to prevent this from happening? I've been on highs trying to figure out, what can I do to fulfill this void? Like, shopping and, whatever it is, talking to different people and just trying to always find something to fill the void.
Absolutely.
It's just been a lot of ups and downs. I've been suicidal.
Mm.
I've come to isolation. When you go through things like that, I didn't have a lot of support.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship, and then that person ended up leaving during that time. When things like that happen, it was a lot of family drama. a lot of things that were coming out the closet that I didn't know about, and just a lot of extra stuff that it just shifted my whole perspective. It just rocked my world.
Wow.
So it was very challenging for me. It was very challenging.
What would you say the hardest part of your healing journey was? And also, what did it teach you?
There's a saying that I always speak on.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a period of isolation where I was kind of looking at a lens where I was questioning everybody, family, friends, like just my job, what I do every day. Like I went through a period of questioning everything. And in that period of isolation, I felt like God put me there. God didn't have anything to do with the murder. He didn't have anything to do with that. That's not of God. That's the enemy. But I do feel like everything happens for a reason, and God has a higher calling and purpose on my life because of this.
It just gave me
And
chills.
there's a saying that I read because I
Wow.
was going through isolation. I was by myself. I started getting into numbers. I started, getting
Wow.
into animals and, just getting in touch with nature and
Yeah.
just trying to figure it all out. And I read something,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I probably said this to you before, but as you overcome your greatest challenges,
Yes,
those then become your greatest strengths. And that stuck with me
absolutely.
forever. It stuck with me forever because it made me realize that I'm here for a reason. Throughout all the isolation, throughout the suicidal attempts, and just being by myself and feeling alone, feeling like maybe God is punishing me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no purpose here. What am I gonna do? I have nothing
Yeah.
left. Like I went through all of that, and I realized that I have a purpose. I have a purpose. Yeah, once I realized that, I got into a period of searching for my purpose.
Mhm.
It wasn't always an easy ride. Of course, there was always still a roller coaster. There was lows. The enemy is always trying to attack
Absolutely.
when you're anointed and when you have a higher
Absolutely.
calling. He's always
Yes.
going to attack you. And I went through it. When
Absolutely.
I tell you, he was attacking me left and right. He was trying to destroy me
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because when I think about it, like it's only the girls left out of my mom's like out of us siblings. It's only the girls left, and I feel like I'm the black sheep of the family. I feel like I think differently, and I see things in a different perspective. I feel like God is using me to change the way this generational cycle has been.
Breaking the generational curse.
Yes,
That's
that's where I'm
amazing.
at.
You had mentioned something earlier that you're starting to see like from a different lens who you can trust and who you can't trust.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit more about how that has shaped your healing journey and also what's kind of had you to shift into where you're going.
Um, I've had some when you go through things like that of different traumas and stuff like that, it does break your trust. It breaks a lot of different things, but I feel like I've been reborn in a sense. I feel like I've been reincarnated in a
Wow.
sense. I'm not the same. I'm not. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to accept because you want to be like, dang, I miss the old me. Like I miss when I was like this. I was so live. I was this way. I was that way. But I'm not that person anymore, and that's okay. Now I'm in a process of learning who this new woman is. And I know and I can envision myself going so far with what God wants me to do. And I may not have every step of it mapped out, or I may not have it all figured out, but I trust in God because he was the only person that was there when I didn't have anything. So as long as I'm obedient to what he's asking of me, and I just keep pressing, I know that he's going to put me in the places in the rooms like how I am now.
What?
Y'all don't understand. When I say that I was by myself,
Wow.
and I prayed to be in rooms like this, and it may be small to other people, they may not understand, but this is major for me because I was at a point where I didn't have this.
Mm.
I didn't have the platform to speak on my story. I didn't have a bunch of women that are positive, that are God fearing women, that are out here go getters and trying to make things happen,
Yeah.
and let alone for other women. So I do
Absolutely.
want to commend you, and I want to appreciate you and let you know that I do deeply appreciate you for giving
Thank
me
you.
this platform to even speak,
Absolutely.
because this is my first time even speaking on this in a public sense and around other women. So
Mhm.
I feel like this is confirmation that I'm doing the right thing, and that
Absolutely.
this is what He wants me to do.
And you know, that is what you just said is also confirmation for me as well, because this is what God told me to do. What would you say to someone who's listening to the podcast right now who may be experiencing loss or trauma at the moment?
You're not alone. There are so many people going through it. We're living in a crazy time today, and everybody has their own story.
Mm.
That's why you have to be gentle with people. You have to give people grace, because everybody is going through something.
Right.
And I would say that there's somebody out there that's going to hear you and they're going to understand you. You're not alone, because I felt like that for a very long time. I felt like my life was just like purposeless. Like,
Yeah.
what am I here for? What is my purpose? But you're not alone. And there are going to be times, if you just believe and have faith, that you are going to find your circle of people. Because
Mhm.
in those moments when you're going through those things, it's a lack of support. It can come from, trauma,
Mhm.
but a lack of something.
Right.
I don't know what it could be. It only you would know that.
Yep.
There's a lack of something, in that you choose yourself.
Mhm.
Just choose you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to learn how to love yourself. And I didn't love myself.
Mm.
I've been through with different relationships and things like that, um, and failed because of my childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Things that I had to learn about myself,
Yeah.
my flaws. I'm not perfect. So you have to learn how to love yourself, and you have to set boundaries for yourself. And when you
Mm.
set those boundaries, that teaches people how to treat you.
Mhm. I love that.
Mhm.
That's amazing. So what's going to be next for you?
What is next?
Yeah.
So, um, I do want to end up kind of like getting into my book. I'm really heavy into my book right now.
Okay.
I'm kind of trying to still figure out the name of the book, but I'm like, I'm not going to stress and dwell on that. It's going to come to me. It'll come
When
to
you're
me. But
done. Mhm.
the purpose of my book is to go into like spirituality, finding who you are. Um, I go into a lot of different topics about mirrors, and I think
Nice.
that's going to be the name of my book. It's going to probably be
Ooh.
called Mirrors, because it's going to touch on a lot of different things,
Nice.
as far as like your identity, who you
Yes.
are,
Yeah.
abuse. And a lot of times people are putting your life, whether it's good or bad outcomes, but they're putting your life to teach you something about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Absolutely.
mean when I say mirrors.
Yeah.
So everybody that you come across, whether they're abusive, whether
Mhm.
they're empowering,
Mhm.
those people are teaching you things about yourself.
Absolutely.
So anything that if you encountering someone, don't ask, oh, why is this like this, and why did I meet this person? They're teaching you something about
Right.
yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to take a step back and think, why do I keep meeting this type of man?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you have that some women or men,
Mm-hmm.
because there are women who are abusive too.
Mm-hmm. Of
So,
course.
so there's some women and or men that you end up with the same type of relationship. And at that point, you have to do some inner healing
It's
yourself.
something. Yep.
Why are you trauma bonding? Why do you keep picking the same type of
Mm-hmm.
men that are controlling, are abusive, are narcissist? And so sometimes it is changing your environment, changing the people that you're around, and really doing some self-reflection.
Yeah.
So the mirror thing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
that would be good.
I'm heavy into doing that. I want to get the book out there, and I do want to speak to other
How
organizations.
about by Mother's Day in honor of your mama?
You know what? I've been thinking. I've been thinking.
Okay, we can make it happen. You know that, right?
For real.
Yeah, we can.
I'm eager to get it out there, because it'll give me more of an opportunity, because I'm a writer. I love to write, and that's how I express myself, and I've been like that since I was a little girl. And it's easier for me to articulate myself, because I get in my zone, and I just go. And I feel like it'll touch on a lot of different
Yes.
things in more detail for people to really truly dive in and relate. And the whole thing is transparency for me. I want to be
Absolutely.
transparent because transparency is what's going to attract people.
Yes,
Because we are
absolutely.
human and a lot of us
Absolutely.
are going through the same exact thing, maybe in a different way, maybe different people,
Mhm.
but we're all going through something. And you can't do it by yourself. We need the support, we need the love, we
Yes.
need all of that. So that's what I wanna spread. That I want to spread the love. I want to spread the support. And not only just for women, but for men too.
Absolutely.
I just want to be
Yeah.
able to like open up people's eyes to do things the right way.
Absolutely.
The right way.
I love that. And
Yeah.
where can someone find you if they're looking for you?
If they're looking for me, y'all, they can DM me on Instagram,
Okay.
London_Carter. You can reach out to me on Facebook. I would recommend those ways. Just reach out. I'm open to hearing anybody's story. I'm very passionate about what I feel and what I do. I'm an empath, and I just want to make a difference. I think that's what's deeply inside of me, just making a
Absolutely.
difference. If I can save a life, it don't have to be,
Yeah.
you know, 1,000,000 people or 1,000 people even viewing this platform. But if I can change one person's life or perspective, I know that I've done what I'm supposed to do.
And you know something that just came to me? You'll be carrying on your mother's legacy.
Absolutely.
Because from what you shared, she was a beautiful person.
Yeah,
As she'll be
absolutely.
looking down proud of you.
Yes.
So proud of you for carrying on her legacy. And then her death is not in
Yeah.
vain. Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming on here. I know that was tough thing for you to do, and so we so appreciate it. And I know that it's going to touch so many lives out there because there's so much going on right now with I'm seeing surfacing on social media with men, particularly men killing women, and I'm seeing a lot of that lately.
Yeah, it's
And so this is right on topic, and so I appreciate you. It's perfect timing. So we thank you for coming on here
Thank you for
today.
having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.